Okay, so with matrices, sometimes we add them or subtract them. Now, they have to be the same order for you to be able to add or subtract them. So if you have a look here, we've got this example here. This order is a 2 by 2, so I can add the next one because it's also a 2 by 2. And simply all you have to do is you add the same spot. So you can see A plus W got added together, and obviously when you go to the second spot, that gets added with that second spot, and so on. So if you have a look at our example here, this is, if you look at the order, this is a 2 by 3, and so this is also a 2 by 3, so I can add them together. So all I'm going to do is, if I add A and B, what I'm going to get is first a 2 plus 1, which is 3, 3 plus 2, which is 5, and 0 plus 3 is 3, 1 plus 2 is 3, is 4 plus negative 2 is 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So you can do it on your calculators as well. You can just pop them in and press plus in between and add them. As long as they're the same order, they will add them. If they're not matching, the calculator will tell you it can't do it. All right, so the same thing goes with subtraction. So if you look at here, you're just going to subtract the same value. So there you go, thing. So really easy. So if we were doing this matrix A minus matrix B, we're just going to subtract the spot. So I'll type it out for you. We'd have 2 minus 1 there, we'd have 3 minus 2 there, and 0 minus 3, 1 minus 2. Now 4 minus a minus, what's that going to become? Good. And 2 minus 1. So be careful. So I'll tidy that up, and that'll be 1, 1, negative 3, negative 1. That becomes a 6. So when you minus a minus, becomes a plus, and that becomes 1. So there's your answer. Just be really careful if you're manually doing it. As I said, if you pop it in your calculator, it will do it for you. Okay, so we've got a few example questions. Now, it says here we have to find then D is equal. So just look along, it's adding. So what you can see is 1 plus D would equal 11. So if you wrote that out, you've got 1 plus D equals 11. So what would D equal? Yeah, so D equals 10. So that's pretty easy. Consider the 4 matrix expressions. How many of these 4 matrix expressions are defined? Defined means you can do the calculation. So remember what I just said before. You have to have the same order. So this one you can, can't you? Because it's a 2 by 1 with a 2 by 1. This one I can't do, can I? Because they're different orders. And I can't do this one, but I can do this one. So how many of them can you do? The answer would be 2. Okay? Okay, so as I said, you can type them in your calculator. So in the chapter work, you are going to see where they'll give you like a whole set of matrices, and then you've got to do a whole heap of operations. So you can, as I said yesterday, you can store them if you like. But as I said, I don't know, it's just as quick highlighting it and just doing that minus that. But it's up to you, whatever you'd like. So can you see here, when they've stored it, just to prove my point, so they store it here, and then they just, when you write n plus n, it just gives you the answer. I like to be able to see what happened, because then you can check your work properly in your calculator, see that you haven't accidentally typed a wrong number. So that's why I don't like to do it. So with multiplication, now we're going to do 2 types of multiplication, and with this one today, we're just talking about scalar multiplication. So scalar is when we just have, it's just a number outside the matrix. So it's not a matrix multiplied with another matrix. That's a bit harder. We're going to do that in another lesson. So scalar just means a number out the front. So can you see here, This 7 is the scalar. Yeah, is the scalar number. That's what you call. And it's pretty easy. It's like brackets. You can see everything inside got multiplied by that 7. So let's do the example here. When it says find 3A, so we've got 3, and I'm going to write matrix A out. So all that means is I'm going to multiply all those numbers by 3. So I'll have 6, 9, 0, 3, 12, and 6. Okay? Now, if you've got the next one, it says 0.5 of C. So you can type that on your calculator like that too. So what you do is write 0.5 and then just press times and then type out your matrix. It's pretty easy to do 0.5, but if you get a fraction, that's a bit harder. Don't waste your time doing your fractions. Just do it. So this one's pretty much half. So we've got 2, -2, -1, and 3. That's what that one is. So what I'm saying is sometimes you might, for example, you might get 7/9 outside of, and you've got 4, and then you might have 2/3, 1, and I don't know, I'm just making these up. So instead of doing all your fraction rules, please save yourself and save me all the errors. Just do that in your calculator. So you type that in, times, and type the thing out, and you'll get your answer. All right? Okay, doing this exam question. Now, it says matrix is equal to. So only whatever's going to produce this matrix when you do a scalar multiplication. So in 12 times 0 is going to give 0. So I'll get rid of those ones. I can quickly see that one. So 12 times, this one would work. This would be, at the start, 12. Then 12 times 3 is 36. But 12 times -2 is 144. So that one's not it. What about this one? This one would be 12, 36, 0, and 24. Yep, that's the same. So that one's equal. Okay, there's an example. Okay, let's have a little look. So Elena imports 3 brands of olive oil, Carmini, Linelli, and Ohana or something. The number of 1 litre bottles of these oils sold in January 2021 is shown in matrix J below. What is the order of matrix J? Nice, easy one marker for us. 3 by 1, there's 3 rows. Elena expected that in February 21, the sales of all 3 brands of olive oil would increase by 5%. She multiplied matrix J by a scalar value K. So they're just calling the number, the K, the scalar number. To determine the expected volume of sales for February, write down the value of the scalar. So what you want is you want to increase this by 5%, yeah? When you increase something by 5%, you have to times it by the whole thing plus 5%. So if you're going to times by the whole thing, what's that? You times it by 1, good. So we want 1 plus the 5%. So the scalar number is actually going to be 1.05. Can you see that? So when you increase, it's got to be 1 plus. If you were decreasing, it'd be 1 minus what you have to. Okay, so you just write 1.05. Someone just asked if it was a fraction, if you had 105 over 100, I still believe you'd get that right. That's still a scalar number.